Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says the death toll from Russia's strike on Ukraine's northeastern city of Sumy has risen to at least 35 and more than 100 people injured. And this morning, Ukraine's military says it has hit back, striking that Russian base that carried out Sunday's missile attack. Speaking in the Oval Office yesterday, President Trump blamed his predecessor as well as the leaders of Ukraine and Russia for the ongoing conflict, despite the fact, of course, that it was Russia that invaded Ukraine.
Listen, when you start a war, you got to know that you can win the war, right? You don't start a war against somebody that's 20 times your size and then hope that people give you some missiles.
Joining us now for more on this from London is CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams. Holly, you've covered this conflict from the very beginning. The president says do not start a war with someone who's 20 times bigger. Did Ukraine start this war?
Ukraine did not start this war, Vlad. It began when Vladimir Putin launched his invasion of Ukraine back in 2022. Regarding this attack in Sumy, Ukraine says that Russia hit the city with 2 ballistic missiles and that among the 35 killed were 2 children, making it the deadliest strike so far this year. Now, Russia claims it targeted a meeting of Ukrainian military officers, but Ukraine has highlighted what appears to be a large number of civilian casualties. The bombs landed just after 10 o'clock in the morning as many people were out celebrating on the street, celebrating Palm Sunday, when Christians, of course, remember Christ's triumphal entrance into Jerusalem. Now, President Trump called the attack horrible and said, quote, "I was told they made a mistake." But America's European allies have condemned the strikes in much stronger language. Finland's foreign minister said that it shows that Russia has zero regard for human life. Poland's foreign minister called it Russia's mocking answer to Ukraine's agreement to a ceasefire deal proposed by the US. And visiting Ukraine today, the Secretary General of NATO called it simply outrageous. Now, that deadly attack on Sumy came shortly after President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, was in Russia for talks with Vladimir Putin.
So this all comes, of course, Holly, as you know, the administration is trying to bring an end to the war. But any way that they are closer to achieving this, bringing the two sides together?
Well, Vlad, the Trump administration has essentially upended US policy on Ukraine, not only initiating direct negotiations with Russia, but seeming to give away possible negotiating positions by saying that it will not support NATO membership for Ukraine, will not send US peacekeepers if there's a ceasefire deal, and even saying that a return to Ukraine's 2014 borders is unrealistic. The US also briefly suspended deliveries of military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine following a contentious, fiery meeting between President Trump and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at the White House in February. At that meeting, Zelenskyy was given a very public dressing down, and Vice President J.D. Vance suggested that Zelenskyy was not sufficiently grateful to Trump. Now, all of that has clearly delighted Russia, but the problem for Vladimir Putin now is that while President Trump wants a ceasefire, Putin probably doesn't, because his forces currently have the upper hand on the battlefield. So Russia appears to be essentially slow-walking the process. And the question is how long President Trump will tolerate that until his patience runs out.
All right, Holly Williams reporting from London for us. Holly, as always, we appreciate you. Thank you.